My brother's bedroom was next door to mine growing up. One afternoon, he asked me what I was doing the previous night that made me laugh so much. Confused, I pressed him for details. About 3 a.m. last night, your laughter woke me up. It sounded like you were pacing your room too, pacing and laughing. At this point, I told him that I wasn't home last night. I'd been at a friend's house. He went pale. To this day, he swears blind that it was my laugh. I have a very distinct laugh, apparently.
A bit paranormal, perhaps? My grandfather got into the hospital on a Friday night. Nothing too unusual. He wasn't doing good, but he had been there before. The next day, I go to work. I'm somewhat worried, but again, he'd been there before. I go on with my day. There are customers. A friend stops by and we talk, and I fill the rest of the time with homework. My grandfather's in the back of my mind, but I have other stuff going on, you know? Right around 4 o'clock, I was chatting with a coworker when I glanced at the clock and my stomach dropped. I randomly got filled with dread and profound sadness. I continue chatting, but the feeling persists. I check out at 5, the feeling of gloom persisting, and of course my brain goes to my grandfather. I just knew. I get home and my mother tells me my grandfather passed away. I ask around what time. 4 o'clock.
I don't know if this can be called a ghost encounter or not. I faced this continuously for a couple of months this year, irrespective of what time I sleep at night. When I wake up in middle of night and look at my phone, the time will be 2:36 a.m. Once, when I woke up in middle of night, I resisted looking at the phone for some time, and after a couple of minutes, when I saw the time, it was somewhere around 2:39 a.m. This kept me worried for few days, and somehow, now I am not facing this problem, but those months were a nightmare for me.
In 2019 on New Year Day, for last 2 months, ground floor of our house was renovating, and our family was living on first floor that time. On New Year night, renovation work was almost complete. Therefore, me and my brother slept on ground floor outer room. There were 2 beds on opposite sides of rooms. We were sleeping with our blankets on. After 12 midnight, I felt that something ran over me. With that feeling, I screamed in fear. And at that same, my brother also felt that. Then our parents come down in our room. That was horrifying experience, but after some reasoning, my theory was like there is plot neighboring to our house, and a cat gave birth to 3 kittens. They are too small, they can come through our gate, which I have also seen them doing it. So they must be the cats.
When I was a little girl, my sister and I was playing in the sandbox behind our house. This green arm came from underneath the sand and grabbed my sister and pulled her down. She was screaming and I grabbed her and pulled her back up. We ran to my mom, who was sitting on the back porch, and started to tell her what happened. She said she didn't see anything. My little sister was screaming, but my mom didn't believe us. She thought we were making it up. We still talk about it to this day. We have no idea what that was.
When I was a kid, I was reading in bed when I felt what I thought was the cat jump on the bed. I look up and see nothing, but can still feel like there is something small on the bed. I wrote it off and never felt it again. When my brother left for college, I moved into his old room because it was bigger and he would use my old room when he came back. Years later, I'm sitting in the living room with my parents when my mom says, "Oh, did you hear your brother thinks there's a ghost cat in the spare room?" In a kind of derisive tone. My brother is definitely the most likely to believe in ghosts of my family, but he apparently experienced the same thing I did years later.